you mentioned 9 Mile Labs, and what was your general experience through 9 Mile, and what are your thoughts on accelerators in general for maybe some founders that are thinking about going that direction?
Yeah, it's so interesting. Like I heard recently there's some well-known study that proves that accelerators don't work, and I haven't read it yet, and I'd be curious to read it because I still I can't get over the idea that if at the point of your startup you're not paying people cash, you're giving away equity, right? So if you're going to give away 5 to 10% or 3 to 9% or something like that to some third or fourth employee, if that employee can get you all things and more than an accelerator can, then go with that employee and don't do an accelerator. But accelerators, they give you connections, they give you money, they give you office space. They drastically give you that seal of approval.
Right.
Like, it's that, trust badge that we all like to have at the bottom of things. So, that is, if you have an employee that can come on who's got that great a reputation in the market, is going to not just join your company, but can invest their money in their company and has an incredible pool of investors. Those do exist, but they're really kind of rare. Go for it.
Well, and as I'm thinking about it, it's like, okay, you can't go back and say, well, you can't even compare not going through Accelerator because you didn't, right?
That's true.
So the way I view it is, it didn't hurt you.
No.
You look back and say, well, could we have done better not going through it? You don't know.
Yeah.
2, probably not, right? I just think, so something I'm thinking about right now is, it's actually a blog post that I'm thinking about writing is it possible to decrease the failure rate of startups? And another way to say it is, with all these accelerators like Y Combinator, 9 Mile Labs, Techstars, have we made a dent in improving the success rate of startups, or
I don't know.
is it just literally
show.
like whatever the percent is, which sounds like it's 75 to 90% startups fail? And I think it's interesting because
that's interesting.
My bet is it was an advantage for you, but you, knowing your team and knowing your product, I think you might have been successful regardless, right?
Yeah,
so if you think about it, like, I think it's a choice that all entrepreneurs need to make, all founders need to make, but for sure you probably you wouldn't have gotten connected with as many people, customers, investors, right, in that period of time. And that's why they call it Accelerator.
I mean, it's an interesting point if you think about it. I mean, mobile was hot. This is like, what is this, like almost 2 years ago when we were raising money and stuff. Mobile was super hot. Retail was hot years prior to that, like online retail. Then it moved to kind of like mobile apps. Everything was mobile apps. And right when we launched, Uber was going crazy. It was like their first $100 million fund was just being raised. So Uber for X was the hottest thing in town. And to be what Uber does for cars, you're going to do for trucks? Are you kidding me? Like, I mean, maybe you're right. Like, maybe it didn't matter where or when we came, we were at the right time. And like that's an interesting point if you think about, like, if 18 people went before us and tried to be what we were doing. There is a lot of studies that I have read about, timing is the number one thing that dictates success. So you get a startup as a founder, you're so inherently like, that's crap. It's me. It's my team, So I guess I will be sober enough to say, like, you know what, I think you make a pretty good point. Like, it could have been accelerated. It didn't. I don't know if it hurt us or it helped us or whatnot. And it could have just been that we were Uber for trucks. And that was the summer to beat Uber for trucks.